Yes, good morning, everybody. It's a Dog H. Weber with another edition of Weber This Week. It's November 3rd, 2014. Election Eve. Thank God. Those ads go bye-bye. How about Bangor, Maine? 13 inches of snow. Are you kidding me? Hope we don't get that here in the Finger Lakes. Not for quite a while. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all having a good morning. Hope you had a nice weekend. It's always good to have you join us for the Weber This Week show here on FingerLakes1.com. It's always nice to bring in guests every week, as we always try to do, but it's always nice, even nicer for me, to bring in friends of mine that are involved in a great operation, the Belhurst Castle. And without further ado, Ellen and Kevin Reeder join us on the couch. Ellen and Kevin, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us.
It's nice to have you. I've been trying to get these guys on for several weeks, and they finally opened up a date, and they're pretty busy folks, and it's nice to have them here. And I wanted them on because I have a personal history and a personal background dealing with the Belhurst Castle. But without getting into that right now, Alan, let's first talk to you about, you've got the Isabella Spa that you've done a magnificent job overseeing and running. Before we get into the details of the castle's longevity, the spa is doing very well. The salon's doing very well. Talk a little bit about, that's obviously a flavor that you're involved in day to day.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful spa and salon, Isabella Spa and Salon, located within the Belhurst Castle. We are lucky enough to have a full-service salon and spa there, where we offer so many services to hotel guests and also to local enthusiasts. And we're so glad to be there. We're so lucky. We're open 7 days a week, much more availability than you might expect. So give us a call, and we're there for all and everyone.
And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't say you just got recognized for an outstanding operation too.
That's right.
That's always good.
Excited.
And I might add, Jimmy, we can take a shot of this right here, and Wedded Bliss. And there it is, Wedded Bliss, and talking about the spa, the Isabella Spa, and some exciting news inside and about Ellen and her team that put together. And how hard was it, Ellen, to get together a team to obviously operate that? You had to get some people that knew what they were doing.
Yes, we're looking for professionals. We can always use some more. Those that we have are just wonderful, and especially great for wedding parties, but also for all kinds of services. We have a wonderful spa where our massages are supreme. We give one of the best massages that we know about, and we try to keep that excellence there in the spa area. Also offering facials, body treatments like scrubs. You can come out just absolutely gleaming. Yeah.
I'm impressed. Yeah. Even for an old dog?
Probably. I bet you'd notice.
Maybe a little extra time.
If it was an hour, it's going to take an hour and a half to get this dog scrubbed. You gave my daughter Sam, I'm sure he'll be checking out the show, and my wife Mary, a good comeback line when I get home later. Kevin, let's talk. Thanks, Alan. We'll get back to Alan in a little bit. But, Kevin, let's talk about the Belhurst Castle.
Sure.
When was it built? Let's talk about the year, the architect, and when was it created, for the folks that may not be aware of that?
It was built, took 4 years to build, 1885 to 1889, by a woman by the name of Carrie Collins. And she owned as a residence and lived there until her passing in the mid-late 20s, I think 1926. The property changed hands a couple of times, and then Red Dwyer actually purchased it. He was a local businessman, and turned that into a restaurant, kind of a colorful background during his tenure there. The Golden family came in. Bob Golden and his children owned and operated and actually lived there for a period of time up until from 72 to 1992. And then my father and I have been operating it since then, since it's 22 years now.
Wow, 22 years. That's amazing. And, you look at the structure, and, it's a castle, and, people who live in the Finger Lakes who have never been there, I urge you to check it out. It's spectacular. It's got to be neat to know that you are part of really an historic, I don't want to say monument, but an historic place that just beckons people to check it out. I mean, it's just spectacular.
Absolutely. I think the visual, the formidability of the structure of the castle, I think is alluring. Its history is extremely alluring. and hopefully brings you in the doors. And once you're inside, I think the warmth of the environment and the friendliness of the staff will hopefully keep you coming back.
And we should point out your education is you were involved at Cornell. You went to Cornell?
Cornell Hotel School, yeah.
Hotel School. So certainly to oversee a staff and of all the amenities. And you know, Kevin, certainly being the owner, certainly knows that you've extended your amenities to when you took it over with your dad.
Yes.
Certainly now there's a lot more things on the fireplace that you got to deal with every day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's got to be sort of a challenge, but it's got to be a neat challenge.
It is. It's every single day is different. There's never a boring moment during the operation. When we came in '92, we had 13 guest rooms and a ballroom, fine dining restaurant. And today, after 3 expansions, we have 47 guest rooms, 2 ballrooms, fine dining restaurant, casual restaurant, wine and gift shop, and spa and salon.
And I'm sure you're not done.
For the time being, I think it's enough for now. Yeah.
Well, I think Ellen and Kevin both can comment. I mentioned about having them on, and I disclaimed the fact that they are personal friends of my family, and they're very close to my daughter Sam and my granddaughter Izzy and my wife Mary. So this is sort of a good time to have them in. But what's always intrigued me was having personal experience with events there. I can speak volumes about if you've never been there and had an event there, you need to check it out. And you need to really give them a shot to host your event, because having had a wedding there way back when, I've been called a lot of things, but I'll tell you one thing I have been called is anal. I'm very detail oriented. And I want to tell you something I was telling them before we came over to the studio. The operation of putting together the wedding was short of spectacular. I mean, it's just amazing. The details and people following up and sitting down with their staff leading up to a wedding to go over everything. I mean, you talk about A to Z, everything is covered. Not only is it covered, they call you a few days later to make sure that it's all covered. And then they call you a week later to make sure it's still covered. And that to me is something that people say, it's over the top. No, it isn't. When you're putting together an event and you're spending good money to put on an event, you want it to come off without a hitch. And if there is a hitch, there always make sure that it's taken care of. A couple things come to mind. When we had the wedding at the Belhurst, we had it outside. It was an August wedding. It was beautifully overlooking the lake. Absolutely, the appetizers, the drinks, everything on the lawn. But it was hot. It was like 92 degrees, and I was dying thinking, what are we going to do if it rains or thunders? Not to worry. Game plan B. Go inside. They have a beautiful dining room, beautiful facility, and it's a ballroom. I mean, you got spectacular. Everything is second to none there. I mean, everything is just priceless, and you got to check it out. And I'm telling you, folks, it's not easy to get a wedding there in the summertime, but I'm telling you, if you got a wedding coming up down the road, check out the Belhurst, because you will not be disappointed. Everything is etched in cement to me, and that's something that's very impressive.
Doug?
Yep. Yep.
I've when I heard Kevin and Ellen were coming in, I thought about all the times I've been to the Belhurst, and it goes back to when I was a kid, right. In the mid '80s, going there for a brunch or something, and then I remember we went there for our junior prom dinner, and since then I've been to probably a dozen weddings in every season. Gone out there to dinner. Been to the one of the nice things about going there is I love the bar area, the lounge area if you're waiting to eat, or if you're at a wedding, you can even head in there. And but so I've been, and just being on the grounds in all 4 seasons, it's beautiful in all 4 seasons, and I never had a bad experience there in probably 25 or 30 times. Happiness House event I've been to a few times that you guys do a great job with.
Thank you very much. Yes.
And just nothing but positive experiences at the Belhurst.
And that's why I wanted them on, because, it's easy to bring a guest and talk about what could happen or what might happen. I can tell you the fact that I can tell you firsthand, having arranged and been part of these events, they're a really unbelievable team. And as Kevin and Ellen will point out in a minute or so, it's the team that they have put together. And it's the way, like when we put together what I thought was a surprise party for my wife, Mary, not so fast. she's good at catching on, and I was a little bit nervous getting ready for this event, and I think she kind of knew there was something up. And as usual, I was wearing something I wouldn't normally wear, a sport jacket. But it was fun. And they had it set up in Edgar's Bar. They had about, 24, 26 people. Ellen and Kevin joined us that night for that special occasion for the Queen Mary. And it was just, it was amazing how the details. And Kelly put it on. Kelly organized. Kelly Towers. I mean, Kelly, a shout out to her. I mean, Kevin can talk about his team in a minute. But I mean, she was on top of everything, and I wanted to make sure. My daughter Sam and Izzy, we were putting this together, and Kelly was just amazing. So again, folks, I'm telling you flat out, this is amazing. You got to check out the castle, and if you don't want to have a wedding there, fine. But you want to go up and have a massage, or take your bride or your girlfriend up to the salon and work with Ellen's team to make that special day happen. You're not going to be disappointed. I think going back to the castle, you walk in and you got Edgar's Bar there, which is legendary. And I've had a couple of drinks in that place, I'm sure, over the years. But what I like about is the variety that you offer the clientele. Ellen, talk about that. You go to Edgar's, you can have a drink. You might want to bring an appetizer and have it there. Right. Yeah, you want to go to Stonecutters just walk a little ways, you can go in there. Right. You want to go in the main dining room, you can go in there. So talk about that. That's the thing that impresses a lot of people. You got variety.
Right. We're very proud of the fact that we offer so many things at the Belhurst Castle, especially now that we've added the addition. There's so many choices. You have different choices in lodging stays. Sure. You have packages you can purchase that will include dinner, also your spa experience and your room, or any other number of different things, and specials running all the time.
Right.
But so many things to offer with fine dining, casual dining, wedding venue. Maybe you want to have your anniversary party there, or you just want to come back for your anniversary. It's such a special place. And don't forget that it's extremely romantic. Everything about it is a romantic experience from start to finish. And that's what we're all about, is making the experience complete for every guest.
Well, and you do. We're going to talk to Kevin about his team, give some names out. Who's the chef? Who's running that operation? A lot of people should get credit on this show. This is Weber This Week on a Monday, the 3rd of November, 2014. Good friends Alan and Kevin Reeder, the owners of the Belhurst Castle, are my special guests. But let's hear now from the sponsors that make this show possible. We'll be right back. Eagle Lake National Bank. Bill Ryan and his team for all of your banking needs. Offices in Union Springs and Aurora. A fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. DA Liquor, Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her great team will find that right spirit for you every time. Tell Amy the dog sent you. Steve Wadhams, Wadhams Enterprises, your employer of choice. Proud supporter of this show and local athletics. Bob and Leslie Oman, owners of the Oman Theater in Lyons, as well as the Newark Pilots, a minor league baseball team with a major league ballpark. Lizard's Tailgater Lounge, Waterloo, best mott sticks around, where you can enjoy a drink and some laughs. SenecaFallsCountryClub.com, awesome 18-hole layout, offering a 12-month payment plan. Home of the toughest par 4 in central New York. Wilson Press, WPress.com. Seneca Falls. Rich Ricky, my good friend, and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Rich Ricky, Wilson Press, a fine sponsor of Weber This Week. And we're back, November 3rd on a Monday. How you doing, folks? The dog with you on another edition of Weber This Week. And later in the show, we'll give you a little capsule of who's coming on the next couple of weeks. We got guests scheduled really into December right now, which is good. And by the way, if you want to come on the show to talk about your business, you're putting on a charity for a very worthwhile cause, we do it all here. So just give us a call or send us an email. Let us know the topic, and let us know if you want a date, and we can let you know if that date's available. I think we're right now through 12/8. So I think that number rings a bell with me. But we'd like to have you be a part of the show. Again, walks of life, and we would like to have you be a part. So just don't bring any foul language in. We just have you on the couch, and we have a good time back and forth for 30 minutes on a Monday morning. as we start off a new week. Well, Kevin, you talked about going to Cornell, and certainly one of the things obviously you learned is to put together a good team. Because I always remember when I was at Gould's as manager of customer service, I was always told a manager is only as good as the people that report to them. They can make you or they can break you.
Absolutely.
Talk a little about your team and throw out some names for us, if you would, about some of the main people that are involved in day-to-day operations there.
Well, the management team, I've been highly fortunate that a majority of them have been with me for extended number of years, and learning along with me as we go through the process, and the business, some of our policies and procedures of operation, from trial and error and trial and success, and the repetitiveness of that over now 20 some years has really been beneficial for all of us. Every single individual coming in there is a unique individual and a unique experience, just like every bride that comes through there. Again, there are certain policies and procedures that make it flow and make it run well, but honing in on those details, or what is very special to a particular bride, or what is very important to them is important to us. Carmen Brennan Bain, who is the events coordinator, has been with the property, starting off as a busgirl and a waitress, banquet waitress, bartender, and now events coordinator. She's been with Belhurst for I think 27 years now. Kelly Towers, who's a lodging and dining manager, who started off with me as a hostess, again worked herself up through the ranks, and I think she's been there pushing 14 or 15 years. Christine Fiorella, who operates the wine and the gift shop, she also came to us as a waitress, however had a tremendous amount of marketing and sales experience from managing some retail outlets in New York City, and she has now been there, I think, pushing 8 or 9 years also. Ellen running Isabel Spa Salon, and the executive chef Marco Bellatori, who is now going into his 3rd season with us, after taking over from Chef Casey Belisle, who had been there himself for 26 years prior to that. And then not to forget the maintenance crew, Kevin French and his crew, and Kevin has been with me now, I think, for 5 or 6 years.
So, it takes, now, as far as your team, do you have a staff meeting like once a week, or do you get together and go over details?
As managers, we meet twice monthly in season, and the management staff meets with their staff on a daily basis. Yeah.
Well, one thing, Ellen, that I heard Kevin mention, which is rewarding for me and Jim, and rewarding for me, having been in management at Gould's for many years, you're able to work your way up. You're able to come in at a lower level position and a lower paying position, but if you show your wares and show your stuff, you can be elevated, which I liked.
Absolutely.
That's impressive.
Yeah. At a management
Very
and also
important.
the assistant management level, I would say 95% of the staffing at management and assistant management level have come from within.
So that's impressive as well, because people who come to work there have aspirations to be promoted.
Right.
And,
It's very important to us.
And we have service staff there. We have Cecilia Harris is one of our most special waitresses, and Cecilia has been there often. I think took a couple of breaks away, but pushing 30 years there.
Wow.
Cecilia.
That's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. Hey, listen, let's get back and talk about some of the adulation and some of the recognition that the Belhurst has recently got. We talked about it coming across the street, Wine Region of the Year, New York State. Kevin, you mentioned it's no surprise, but I think it's amazing that they beat out some pretty good competition.
I would say so. I think New York, the Finger Lakes wine region, again, coming into this, I've lived here my entire life, educated in the area, worked in the area my entire life. So watching the industry grow and being a part of that growth and success is phenomenal. I think the pride of the Finger Lakes has been there, has always been there, and will continue to be there. And watching the state, the nation, and the world take notice is fantastic.
Well, it's pretty amazing because, again, I wish I was a wine drinker. I'm just not the only brother of three that don't drink wine, believe it or not. I always kid everybody. They always say, why don't you drink wine? Your two brothers drink it like it's water. And they do, and they can handle it. And my two sister-in-laws drink it good. And Mary will have one and done. She'll have one glass of wine. I know what it was. I always tell Jimmy it was this famous story when I was 16 years old. We had about 10 cents to our names. And we were behind the library. And Kevin, you remember the old thing called Ripple? That old by the gallon? Well, we were chugging it.
I'm surprised you didn't drink Mad Dog.
Oh, no. That old Ripple behind the library, down the street from where we are broadcasting. Me and my boys used to sit there and just chug that stuff down, and boy, oh boy, you got sick. I mean, and of course, as you made money and went to work and could afford nice wine. I don't know, and I hate to compare the two, but I don't know what it is about it. I've never really got into wine, and my two brothers, I think they're brothers. We'll check on the DNA, and they love wines, and they love all types of wines, and it's funny how that all works. But
speaking of wine, the Finger Lakes has been, renowned for the Rieslings.
Yeah.
But over the past year, I've been hearing a lot of accolades for red wines out of the Finger Lakes, which is good. I'm more of a red wine guy, and so that's good to hear too. Do you think
some excellent reds?
What do you think about red wines in the region? It's usually all about the Rieslings.
Absolutely. Cabernet Franc is, this is an ideal climate, ideal terroir for Cabernet Franc. Merlots out of this region are fantastic. I think the full spectrum of wine coming out of the Finger Lakes, you can't go wrong. You can't, and that's why I think, Doug, if the variety of wine that's out there, I think if somebody wanted to spend that much time with you, they could probably find a wine that you would enjoy by working you through the.
I might get a limo to come up and get a ride back and have a couple.
There you
I
go.
certainly don't want to get behind my Ford Focus. that could be arranged. That is. All right. Well, listen. A lot of controversy. A lot of controversy about a major $430 million casino may be built in Tyre, New York. Decisions to be announced, I guess, after the election tomorrow. Will Tyre get this full-scale, full-blown-out casino? An opinion on the casino, Kevin and Ellen? Would it help the Belhurst? I don't think it would hurt the Belhurst. But any thoughts about Lago Casino, just about 12 miles away?
Well, anything that can highlight the region and bring more traffic, more tourists, and can only benefit, I think all of us. But with that being said, the demand on the labor in this region, as such, hopefully, as more industry comes in, will draw more hospitality, tourism related working people, and hopefully that again will put a demand on housing, and we can all benefit. That would be ideal.
Yeah, I think that's the plus area of the casino being built, and I always call it Sleepy Tyre, New York, because I drive by that road to Clyde all the time. I go, wow, casino here, it's pretty amazing. But anyways, the decision should be forthcoming. I guess it's going to be a political football, like most things are. Decisions should be made in the next few weeks, possibly, Jimmy, after the elections. They said. That's the latest.
Yeah, of course they're going to wait till after Election Day. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was within a week of Election Day that they'll make the announcement.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And of course, Johnson City down there near Binghamton, along Tioga Downs. The other two in the hunt. One license will be issued. I guess they could say nobody gets one, but I think that's part of the chapter. But between Tioga Downs and Johnson City near Binghamton, along with Tyre, New York. The Lago operation, Wilmerite, has put in like $6 million of their money so far, which, by the way, if they don't get it, they don't get it back. It's non-refundable. So they've spent a fortune, the Wilmerite folks have. I think it's totaling $6 million to get this license. So, and I'm sure the other ones have put a ton of money in it as well. Ellen, let's talk about it and get Kevin's view, too. Somebody's checking us out this morning, and it's good to have you with us, by the way. And they want to have a summer wedding at the Belhurst. They better start calling right away, right? I mean, I guess your bookings for the summertime get pretty well filled up.
They do book in advance, and many people do that. It's a great idea to book in advance, and then for sure you can get the services that you need at the spa and salon, but also throughout the property. The more we know in advance, the better job we might be able to do. But that doesn't mean to give up hope, because you may want to check and see what kind of availability we have, even if you're close at hand. You never know. I believe that some of our availability for weddings is online. I know that my son will be getting married with us next summer. Well,
Nice.
next fall, and his bride checked online to see which days we had openings. So don't be completely discouraged, but do know that if you already know about a wedding date that you have coming up, booking with us in advance is a wonderful idea.
Oh, yeah. And, you want to be sure. And, of course, I keep thinking of Saturday. That's the thing that sticks in my mind because I'm old but there's people that have weddings other days besides Saturdays.
Oh, sure, sure.
It is, we are seeing more turnout, a closer number to the original head count on a Friday. Friday functions are very popular for the attendees where they can make a longer weekend out of the event. Of course, Saturdays are always popular. And this past season and the season before, we've seen several Thursday weddings actually, where they totally stretch the weekend out. Have the big event on Thursday and draw some folks into the area again, and then with the extended stay, hopefully they do some traveling within the region.
Well, Alan and Kevin Reeder have been our special guests, and you look at the clock and it's 9:56. I told these guys the time would fly by, but as you look at the castle, Alan, as you go there every day and you do your thing, it's got to be heartwarming to get the recognition that you're getting from the outside, that the job you guys are doing, you and your team is doing. It's got to be heartwarming, and it's got to be good because there's nothing like good press.
That's right.
I mean, you got to be pretty happy what you've been seeing about the Isabella Spasso example. You got to be impressed.
We were just in Friday night's paper in an insert that we showed on the show, and we've had some really good press. We've had some really good reports. We aim for the best, so we'll continue to show our very best side all the time. So come and visit us. Know that walk-ins are also welcome at our spa and salon. We love to see everyone.
And Kevin, you are overseeing the operation as well, and you're walking around. When I'm up there, I see in different parts of the facility. You're at 9 places at once. How do you do it, by the way? How do you keep moving around and making sure all things are in order? But I'm sure, like you mentioned, you got a good team.
Absolutely. It's the success of the operation again is based on the success of the team, and everybody contributes with the focus of making memories. The idea that every individual that comes through there has a unique and individual experience, and hopefully they're going to walk out of there with a positive experience and a great memory that they're going to want to share with friends and family for a lifetime.
Well, as I mentioned before, the dog can speak volumes of the castle. I personally have been involved in putting on events and having family there many times, and it's priceless. And again, if you think about it, like Jim's pointed out, different times of the year, the summertime wedding overlooking the lake on that lawn, priceless. There's just no way to describe it. You have got to really endure it and go through it to see how spectacular. Cocktails are there, the appetizers are on the lawn, and it's just something that, as you pointed out, you can take a picture of it, you can videotape it, but you got to be there to really appreciate it. So, to my good friends, Alan and Kevin, thanks for spending 30 minutes with us this morning, and hope to have you back down the road.
Thank you very much.
So much.
All right, it's great to have them on. And again, folks, as we look forward to upcoming guests, and of course, we want to remind everybody again that we will have some interesting folks coming in next week. Elizabeth Cady Stanton, which I need no introduction, here in Seneca Falls, New York. Home of women's rights. Are you serious? Yes. Are we talking 199th birthday of Elizabeth Cady Stanton, 199. That's even older than the dog. They will be in next week. Lorraine Withers and Kathy Jans Duffy will be in to talk about big doings in Seneca Falls, a luncheon plan for this amazing achievement, 199 Elizabeth Cady Stanton, sometime I believe in November. Then on the 17th, we're talking about the Seneca Army Depot. They want to make this into sort of a USA destination. The White Deer, they want to be able to do a lot of things at that depot. Where does that all stand? Dennis Money, I love that name, and Steve Churchill, a board of supervisor member, a good friend of mine. They'll be in on the 17th. Jeff Rook will be in, along with another couple of guests, I'm sure, on the 24th, talking about It's a Wonderful Life 5K run. And then, of course, the guy that I've been trying to get in on this show quite a while, maybe over a year, Finger Lakes Times reporter who's been doing this thing for 3 decades, Dave Shaw. He writes a lot of stories about the Indians and so forth, but Dave Shaw will be on the couch talking to me about his great career as a writer and as a reporter for the Finger Lakes Times. So Dave Shaw will be joining us on December the 1st. And again, we have a couple openings left before Santa Claus comes, Jimmy. So you guys and have a great week. It's going to be nice tomorrow. If you still got the clubs sorted away, bring them back out. Tomorrow is it, baby, because I think we're going to talk like the low to mid 40s the rest of the week. To Alan and Kevin Reeder, thanks again for joining us here on Weber on Sports. Check out the Belhurst Castle. You will not be disappointed. They are priceless up there. Take care, everybody. We'll catch you next week. Until then, that's Weber This Week, my way.
By becoming a patron of FingerLakes1.com. Visit patreon.com/FL1.
FingerLakes1.com. Come on and join